Good evening and welcome to ECISD Live. My name is Scott Muri and I'm the superintendent of Ector County Independent School District. It's a pleasure to have you with us this evening. We have a pretty exciting show for you tonight. A rock star group of guests that will join us in just a few minutes, educators, teachers, and former students, and current students actually, that will share their story about their travels through our career and technical education program. But before we get to that, we've got a few district updates that I'd like to talk about this evening. First of all, on February 22nd, we're going to begin to transition back to ECISD face-to-face environment. Some of our virtual students, we recognize as a school district that while virtual learning has been really healthy for some kids, we have other students that are struggling, making D's and F's in some of their classes, as well as not attending virtual school on a regular basis. And we want to ensure that those kids are successful. We want to make sure they're having a great academic year. And so starting on February 22nd, we're going to transition our virtual students that are struggling a little bit. We'll transition them back to a face-to-face environment. Moms and dads, you received that information last week. Our principal sent a letter to each of your homes informing you of that. And so again, that transition date will be on Monday, February 22nd. Those of you that are in a virtual environment and you're having success, you're making great grades and you're attending on a regular basis, we want to encourage you to continue to enjoy that virtual environment for the rest of the year, if that's something that you choose to do. Again, at any point, if you're interested, you can transition back as well. Just make sure you communicate with your school. And parents, if you have questions about this transition on February 22nd, please reach out to your school administrator to find out more information about that process. Again, our purpose is to make sure that every child in ECISD is successful. The second bit of information to share with you is probably something that we're all noticing. In fact, I was just outside a few minutes ago, and it is cold out there. If you've watched your phone and checked the weather, or listened to the weathermen and women on our local stations, you recognize that cold weather is coming. In fact, on Sunday and Monday, they actually are talking about snow in our area. And right now, Monday is scheduled to be a makeup day for us. So February 15th, Monday, February 15th is a school day. However, we're going to keep a close eye on our weather this weekend, and if we have to make a different decision, then we'll do that. So I encourage all of our families, students and staff members, as well as parents, to keep your eyes on the weather. And if we need to make a change for Monday, we'll let you know as soon as we possibly can. But we do anticipate some pretty cold weather this weekend and maybe some snow in our area, which might limit our abilities on Monday and maybe even Tuesday. So pay attention to the ECISD website, our social media channels, for any changes that we need to make. But right now, we're scheduled to come to school on Monday, February the 15th. All righty. Tonight, we have a really interesting topic, and I probably hear more about this program than many of the other programs in ECISD. People asking questions about it, people that are curious about it, people offering their words of wisdom about career and technical education in ECISD. And we have a great panel of experts with us tonight that are going to talk about our career and technical education program. And we're going to start off tonight by talking with the Director of Career and Technical Education Programming in ECISD, Carla Byrne. Carla has been in ECISD for quite a few years, is truly the resident expert on CTE and ECISD. She's done a lot to build this program. I've only been here for a year and a half, but even before I came, I had heard about Carla and the work that she was doing. As I did my own homework on ECISD, she was one of those people that was lifted up as a rock star in the district who does great work. So Carla, thank you for joining us tonight. Thanks for the work you do to support the kids in CTE. So the question of the night, Carla, what is CTE? Tell us about CTE and what is it and what does it look like in ECISD?
Was I muted?
We got you now. I just heard your voice. You're in good shape.
Good evening, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. I always love to have an opportunity to share with people what we're doing with CTE, career and technical education, especially in light of the fact, you may not know this, but CTE month is now in February. So CTE is a program that is often referred to as work-based learning or workforce education. And so we have courses you've probably heard of, such as welding, auto tech, health sciences, and engineering, just to name a few. But let's be clear, CTE is not your grandpa's vocational education. CTE students are earning dual credit and industry recognized certification, some of them at the state level, some of them at the local level. It's just a really, really exciting program. Some of those certifications that kids are earning are an LVN certification, that's a licensed vocational nurse. ECISD has one of just 2 of those programs in the state, and we house that program at Odessa College.
Let me stop you right there. Okay. You mentioned the nursing program. I heard this the other day, Carla. I heard that ECISD last year graduated, along with Odessa College, the youngest nurse in the state of Texas. Is that true?
That's right.
And so she was 19 years old, graduated last year. Is that correct?
Yes, and so consider that graduating at 19, and then our students that are in the LVN program, they all are on the fast track in the RN program. So they transition to the RN program at OC, and they can finish in just 1 year and 1 summer. So awesome. Yeah, and something that's important to note too, our dual credit academies with OC, we have the privilege in CTE of covering the tuition and textbooks fees for all of those CTE-based courses, which makes it a lot more accessible to kids.
You packed a lot of information into that sentence. Let me unpack a little bit. So dual credit, for those that may not know what that is, what is a dual credit course?
So dual credit is an opportunity for a student to earn college credit and high school credit at the same time. And so they can take them in core areas such as English and math and history, or in our areas which fall under the career and technical education umbrella.
Good. And so in ECISD right now, we work with Odessa College as well as UTPB to offer dual credit courses, not just in CTE, but actually a variety of areas in Ector County ISD that students can take those dual credit courses. So you're in high school credit and college credit at exactly the same time. And to your point, that's how you get a 19-year-old nurse, is they're taking one class that kind of meets the needs of both the college and the high school. And we can graduate folks kind of early. Good.
Right.
All right.
They actually graduate with their associate's degree at OC Techs before they even graduate with their high school diploma.
So think about that. So the weekend before they graduate from high school, they actually graduate from college, right, and then you graduate from high school. Pretty impressive. So you've got 2 years of college under your belt, and you've just finished your high school diploma as well. Pretty impressive. It's good stuff. What else? You were talking about our career and technical education program, and it's important. Why is this programming important to our community?
So CTE, it works to educate our students and prepare them for workforce and college, but at the same time, we work to fill those skills gaps that we have out in our own community. So we work very closely with the Permian Basin Workforce Development Board. I have the honor of being able to sit on that board. And annually, we develop and revise what's called the Targeted Occupations List. And so within that list are all of the occupations that are highly needed in our area. So then we come together at the table and we look at programs that we already have, programs we need to add in order to meet the needs of the community. So we're graduating kids that are going to grow up to take care of themselves and be good neighbors, and at the same time filling that workforce gap right here in our own community.
I think that's your comment was powerful. We work in coordination with the Workforce Commission to really understand the occupational needs in our own community, and then design programming to fill the gaps that exist in that. Can you give us an example of that? So you learn something from the Workforce Commission, and then you've created programming. What might that look like in ECISD?
Right. So several years ago, we implemented a program with OC called, we call it I&E, which is short for Instrumentation and Electrical, because we know, especially in this area in which we live, that that's a huge need. And so these are our kids that graduate with associate's degrees in I&E, and they go and they work for places like Chevron and Oxy, just to name a few. So just imagine that you are 18 years old and you already have a level 1 or level 2 certification in an area that is so marketable and so employable. And that's what's so critical to reinforce is that we are training kids in high skill, high demand, high wage occupations.
When do kids start taking career and technical education courses?
So we actually start them out in middle school, which is really cool. And so they get kind of a broader perspective of what's available to them. And then in the 8th grade, they have an opportunity to meet with counselors to review what's available to them in high school. And that's when they develop their 4-year plan, where they choose the courses that they want to take starting in grade 9 all the way through grade 12. And of course, those are subject to change if a student gets into a pathway and decides, maybe this isn't for me. And, as a parent, that's always great for them to decide it now. And, instead of when they get to college and change their major several times.
Sure. No, you're exactly right. So a little bit of experimentation at the middle school level, exploration, but maybe more focused at the high school level. But still, I think to your point, you can even change your mind in high school. Start something freshman, sophomore, and change junior, senior.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Yes, it's very fluid, and so they get to meet with their counselors annually.
So we've mentioned a few of the career pathways, the CTE options. We've talked about nursing and some others. Give us the breadth. What are the diverse options that kids could choose from in ECISD?
Oh gosh, so there's so many to list. So you're going to put that graphic up there. I'm so glad. So we have everything from agriculture. Our students take classes at the ag farm, which is so amazing. They have an opportunity to earn a veterinary technician certification. We have greenhouses where they study horticulture. And then we have things in the STEM area, such as engineering. And engineering runs the gamut of civil engineering to aerospace engineering. Sometimes people are really surprised to hear that those kinds of courses fall under CTE. Anatomy and physiology, forensic sciences, criminal justice administration. So our students are preparing to either go into the police academy or to study law, which is just really terrific.
Interesting. And so we're actually watching a video now. That's some pretty intricate work that you see some of these kids experiencing.
Yes, absolutely. And that's the thing that, for me, we've got to kind of change that. It's kind of a mind shift where, back in the day, CTE was for kids that can't learn. And that gets all over me because our kids are so bright and capable. We have great kids here in our own community. And that's why we focus so hard on growing our own. And we want to change the rhetoric so that we can change the mindset around CTE.
Well, you see, as you watch this video, you see it's actually the opposite of what we hear sometimes. These are kids that are learning and can learn because, these kids clearly in the medical field, we want and need them to learn so that they can take care of us when we have those opportunities in the future.
That's right.
There's a new building, Carla, that I saw emerge on 8th Street. I think it opened this summer. Tell us a little bit about that space.
So if you've driven down 8th Street, I'm sure you've seen the building with the very cool NASCAR kind of coloring. And that is actually a facility that was donated to Odessa College by Colin Sewell several years back. And recently they were able to redo that facility, state-of-the-art facilities, state-of-the-art equipment. And so we were able to move our automotive technology program over into that facility. So when you walk in there, you just cannot believe how beautiful it is. And our kids are able to be in a place learning with equipment that's going to prepare them to be competitive in this global market.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's a great hands-on experience that prepares kids for the real world. We have there's another example that I've seen in our district, and that is the audio-visual portion of our work, that prepares kids for the real world. Tell us a little bit about opportunities that exist in the audiovisual media production area.
So our AV production program is so fun to watch. And our students, I have to tell you, our teacher, Ms. Hembry, over that program, she prepares the students every year for Business Professionals of America. And I will tell you, there's not been many years in my 10 that I've been here that she hasn't taken kids to nationals because they just do so well. And so I'm super pumped that we have Matthew here with us today. I don't know if you want to introduce him, but he makes CTE shine.
Yeah. So in fact, as a new member of this community, there's a recognizable face on Channel 7, and his name is Matthew Alvarez. And Matthew Alvarez has some interesting, he had an interesting journey because his journey started in ECISD in the broadcasting opportunity that Carla, you just talked about. And then today you can watch Matthew Alvarez on Channel 7. So that's pretty exciting. So Matthew, thank you for joining us tonight. Tell us a little bit about your journey through CTE, and then what do you do today?
Having me this evening. I'm glad to be a part of this ECISD Facebook Live. Well, the journey was incredible. I started out in ECISD's AV production department along with the career and technical education area back in my junior year of high school. I actually didn't start in my sophomore year due to a scheduling conflict, but I eventually hopped in to my junior year in Miss Hembry's class, and I started out, we were working on videos. We started editing videos. So many things came together for me once I was able to get into the program and kind of get hands-on learning of what I was eventually going to be doing in the future and what I'm doing today. But the journey itself was incredible. I've always kind of known what I wanted to do. Initially, I wanted to be a weather person, and that kind of switched over once I got to elementary school and saw some of the stories. I watched news most of my life, and so I had an idea of what I wanted to do. But once I started hearing about the ECIC AV production program in middle school, I started looking into it, and there was even a presentation brought to my middle school, Crockett Middle School, at the time. And when I saw it and saw the things that they were doing in it in Miss Hembry's class under her leadership, it was just, I knew that was something I definitely wanted to get into. And once I had the opportunity in high school and it presented itself, I definitely took that opportunity and ran with it. And now it's gotten to me where I am today. I'm now the morning anchor for Wake Up West Texas on CBS 7. And it's a great opportunity. I'm only 23 years old, so I'm starting out in this business quite early, but it's all thanks to what I've learned in ECISD CTE AV production.
Interesting. So we have a 19-year-old nurse and a 23-year-old anchor. That's pretty interesting. So congratulations, first of all, on your success.
Thank you.
Talk about maybe some of those things that you learned during your high school program that you actually use today.
Oh, I mean, almost all of it I use today. I'm glad you asked that question, actually. The very first day of ECIC AV production, we began video editing, learning our software, which was Premiere Pro. And to this day, I use that system. I use that program. Some of the videos, some of the graphics you see on my show right now, I use in that program. And by the end of the program, by my end of my senior year, I was dual certified in Premiere Pro CC, Premiere Pro CS6. And just like Ms. Byrne was talking about earlier, that certification process makes you more marketable when you want to get into the trade or business or whatever industry you want to get into. So something like that is so important. So everything from video editing software to camera work. When I was a reporter, I started out reporting when I was 19 years old. I became a producer when I was 19 and then a reporter later on. So I started out quite early and eventually worked my way up to the anchor desk as well by the time I was 20. Yep. But all because of that, it helped me get through and I got right into it. I started at CBS 7 as an intern the week after I graduated from high school. So quite an interesting experience. Very lucky to have that opportunity. But as soon as I got in, I didn't feel out of place. I felt like I knew what I was doing for the most part. We didn't use exactly the same programs, but they're all built the same way. The cameras I knew how to do, all thanks to what Ms. Hembry taught us and the collaborative efforts that we did throughout the entire ECIC AV production experience. But I do want to mention that it's not all about news broadcast journalism, because I know not everyone's interested in just that one field. AV production branches out in so many different areas to film, movie production, photo editing, so many things, Dr. Muri.
Yeah, no, that's exciting. In fact, last year I was actually in one of her classrooms talking with a couple of kids, and they were on the movie production pathway. You could tell,
yes.
Again, learning the software, but also just using their artistic abilities to create a story and telling that story through the visual arts and through the movie. So pretty exciting stuff, which I guess you do as a reporter too. You have to kind of put together a miniature movie, if you will, and communicate to the audience effectively the news of the day.
Exactly. It's all about telling a story, whether it be through movie, any medium, print, digital, broadcast news, everything is about telling a good story.
So you're talking to ECISD students tonight and who are thinking maybe about CTE and maybe even about broadcasting. So words of wisdom that you would share with some of our students.
Absolutely. Even if you're not certain about what you want to do or what you want to get into quite yet, it's good to at least try and get into it and get some hands-on learning. I saw a comment earlier in our section here, I believe from Ms. Butler, hands-on learning, hashtag hands-on learning. That is what it's all about. And that's where it can kind of cement what you're looking to do. And that's definitely what it did for me, is getting that hands-on experience and not just seeing someone else doing it, but doing it for yourself and seeing the product that comes out, whatever industry that may be, whether it be nursing, video production, marketing, you name it. hands-on learning changes everything. And I think that's what this program is valuable for, is getting that hands-on experience and showing that you can already do what you're going to do if you're going to be looking to get into the industry shortly after high school or even after you get out of college. But that is why it's so important to be able to try and dabble into certain things. And you can always change it, of course, like Ms. Byrne was talking about earlier. It's better to change it like in high school when you have that opportunity than switching majors in college once you're kind of that far along. Nothing wrong with that, of course, but it's nice to have that good high school experience and teachers and counselors who can help cultivate that within you before you head out into the big world.
Absolutely. 23-year-old Matthew Alvarez, news anchor at Channel 7. Just powerful. Congratulations on your success. And thank you, Matthew, for telling your story. I've actually seen you tell your story several times, and you continue to give back to our school system and the kids that live here. So thank you for being a part of our community and being such a powerful example of what education can do and the success that it can bring to life. So well done. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I'm very humbled by your remarks. Thank you very much for having me, and I'm always glad to help Ector County ISD, especially with CTE. I'm glad to be here.
No, thank you. Thank you. We may come back to you. So let's pull Carla back in. So Carla, not only broadcasting opportunities such as we've seen Matthew, but one of the areas of need in our community that we experience ourselves is in education, specifically teachers. You know, when I came aboard last year, we had 352 teacher vacancies in our district. 352 vacancies. We have significantly reduced that, but we still have vacancies in our system. And so one of those opportunities is to become an educator. And we work pretty closely with Odessa College and UTPB in that body of work. So talk to us about the relationship we have with Odessa College and what are we doing with them to grow more teachers?
Well, so this is something I'm so excited about, and I think so are the whole leadership team in CTE. We have an existing program that's a senior year teaching program with OC and UTPB, in which our students have the opportunity to earn up to 21 semester credit hours. And we've been working a lot with talent development and human resources to figure out ways that we could stretch that pipeline to get our kids out even faster, closer to degree completion and closer to working in our classrooms here in ECISD. So we're super pumped to share with you guys that starting in this coming fall, we will be implementing this program, transitioning it down all the way to grade 9. So our 9th graders will start this program, and if they will have through the 4 years of their high school an opportunity to earn up to 78 semester credit hours towards a bachelor's degree. And I want to emphasize that many of these classes in the education area are upper level classes towards a degree. So we cannot be more excited about it.
Yeah, so this is not the oil and gas pipeline. This is the teacher pipeline that we need in our system. And it sounds like we're building it. We have a representative from Odessa College tonight. Charlie Cantella is with us. And I think you've been working with Charlie to kind of refine and define this program. Charlie, thank you for joining us tonight. Why in the world, Charlie, would Odessa College want to invest in this opportunity and partner with ECISD to do this?
Well, that's a great question, and I think that I'm going to go the long route and just say that we are currently working on a strategic alignment with a focus on the ECISD and OC goals and objectives, and that goal is represented in our mission, preparing its students for the community of the future. And so we're looking at developing our teacher education programs to have the supply that the demand is asking for right now. So the first way we're supporting this teacher prep program is for the community so we're looking at a new focus on grow your own national teacher board, which you guys are definitely taking off on, opportunity culture. Also are trying to get our prospective teachers ready with TCTA. We have our own organization on campus, so it's helped our students transition into the professional sector. Of course, we have our early college high schools on campus. OC Techs and Collegiate are here on campus. We have our new program that I know Carla's going to announce, but if she don't mind, Carla, you mind if I?
No, please do.
The name, we solidified a name for this this program. Is called Future Teachers of Odessa. So now it's going to be embedded in our high schools and our comprehensive high schools, and I think it's just like the best thing ever. So now it's coupled with another program that's an accelerated program. We have OC to UTBB Teaching in 3 program, providing resource to combat the teacher shortage here in ECISD ultimately. So our commitments to ECISD, we've gone a little bit, I'm sorry, Dr. Mira, that sounds going to go the long way, so I'm going the long way, is we've established an advisory board, an alignment between UTPB, ECISD, and OC. And we have 16 members on this board, and 2 of which belong to ECISD, which will bring expertise, alignment between student outcomes, TEKS, student expectations, the Texas, to ensure collaboration between the programs, provide consistency and alignment in the curriculum and instruction needs, that provide continuity between the processes, the programs and systems that ECISD has in place. So what better way to prepare our future teachers than to know that when they go into your schools, ECISD schools, they know the processes and the programs and the systems already in place, so they don't have to learn it. So we're also part of Bill and Melinda Gates Sustainability Network, which allows us to, know locally and nationally what the expectations are. And we're involved with the Teachers Can campaign, which allows us to celebrate exemplar success of our teachers in the area. And we're also really, really glad to announce looking at adding a bilingual and a SPED pathway for our teachers as well.
Good. No, I'm glad to hear that. Charlie, our students, the 32,000 that we have now, deserve excellent teachers. And so how do we ensure that this is a rigorous program for students and that you will produce a really great quality teacher that we can in turn bring back to our schools?
Well, part of what we're doing right now is actually the brainchild of some of your staff, which I'm going to tip my hat not only to Carla and her CTE team, but also to Deborah Lee, Jessica Dominguez, and Lauren Alvarez. We're getting a firsthand perspective of what teaching should look like right now, especially during COVID. We're having our students do virtual observations of teachers in ECISD, certified teachers in ECISD, that have synchronous and asynchronous learning going on at engaging blended learning, strategy-based learning, with exposure to best practices. What we want them to get the best picture of what it is to go into the profession of teaching. And so I think that, coupled with the fact that 10 associate of arts teaching degrees, that students can get 60 semester credit hours towards their bachelor's degree. So we're hoping, again, that they get their associates with us. We have 10 of those programs, or they can do our OC to UTBB, quick track, fast track, and get certified that way. These programs are foundational, but they provide core subject matter in their discipline. And upon earning the credentials from OC, the students will have developed the competency levels in critical thinking, communication, which is huge, empirical and quantitative skills, teamwork, personal responsibility, social responsibility. And as we strive to make sure that our students have a clear understanding of the teaching profession, we want them to be able to network with teachers in ECISD and have mentors in ECISD. So I think right now, having that consistency and that conduit, that pipeline, ensures that we're prepping them rigorously and realistically.
Yeah, no, and we appreciate it. The research says, Charlie, that 60% of the teachers in the United States teach within 25 miles of the high school from which they graduated. And so what that means for us is that the vast majority of teachers that we have in ECISD will be our own students, our former students. And so it's the kind of partnership that we have with Odessa College that will ensure that those students today will be excellent teachers tomorrow. So thank you for the work that you're doing. I think I want to dive a little bit deeper into this, and we actually have tonight with us one of the teachers that's a part of this program. Cheryl Cunningham is joining us this evening, and she actually works with these students to mold and shape them into future teachers. So Ms. Cunningham, we were having a few issues earlier. Let's see if you are there. There you go. Ms. Cunningham, I'm not sure if you can hear us or not. We see you, but we want just a quick question about your program. I'd love to know what it's like for our students. What is a typical day in the life of a student that's going through this new program? Carla, you may have to help out on this one until we have. Can you talk a little bit about the program, Carla, so we see if Ms. Cunningham can come back to us?
Yes, I'm happy to. I don't know if I can do it as well as Cheryl could, but I'm happy to step in. Our students start out actually with some introductory courses in grade 9, and then they move up to the Tech Center, which is actually housed at New Tech Odessa, and they start Cheryl's program. And I would say one of the most fascinating things about Cheryl's program is that the students go to elementary schools and daycare facilities, and they actually shadow and co-teach with other teachers right here in ECISD. So they get that hands-on experience.
Yep. So yeah, more than just shadowing, they're actually co-teaching. So they are a part of the action, if you will.
That's right.
So talk about the program. So I go through, do I do 2 years of this? 3? How long does this last in ECISD?
So the existing program right now is a 2-year program. But the exciting thing about this coming school year is it will be a 4-year program. But it's important to note, if you're a 10th grader, if you're a current 9th grader and you're going to be a 10th grader, or a current 10th grader and you're going to be an 11th grader, you can enter into this program. We have multiple points of entry. Obviously, it benefits you more. You can get more college credits if you start in grade 9. But our goal is to get each and every kid as far along as we can.
Okay. All right. So they can enter at any point. Tell me if a student, let's talk about next year and a rising freshman that enter the program. So they're in our program for 4 years. When they graduate from high school, they get a high school diploma, but do they also get a 2-year degree?
Yes, they will have reached the point where they get their 60 semester credit hours towards the associate's degree with Odessa College. And so simultaneously, they're taking courses at OC and through UTPB. So they're working towards the associate's degree, but also towards the bachelor's degree.
Okay. All right. And then, so that's 2 more years after us, and then they're certified?
Yes. I mean, can you imagine? It's just really incredible. And, here's something we haven't mentioned yet. These students, all their tuition and textbook fees will be covered by the school district. So, if this isn't on someone's radar because of that, don't let it be. So
the price tag is free?
Yes.
That's a good price tag. Somebody's paying, and that would be us. But for the students, free for them.
That's a privilege that we get to do sometimes when we, think about how we want to allocate our funds, and it's
awesome.
So critical.
That's great. So actually, Carla, we have a couple of those students on with us tonight. So if we could bring in Natalie Jones and Emmanuel Garcia, they offer some firsthand experience. So these 2 individuals are teachers to be in ECISD. So Natalie and Emmanuel, first, thank you for joining us tonight. And my first question for the 2 of you is, and let's start with you, Natalie, is why? Why do you want to be a teacher?
Well, I guess I would have to say I grew up with my mom as a teacher, and watching her and her love for the students really encouraged me and inspired me to be that for future students. I want to be the reason a student loves learning and creates a successful future for themselves.
No, that's a great statement. You want to be the reason a student loves learning. That's pretty powerful, Natalie. Where do you envision yourself as a teacher? What grade level? What content area? What does that look like for you?
I see myself teaching upper elementary school.
Okay, all right.
Quite possibly third grade, maybe fourth or fifth grade.
Okay, all right.
And I would enjoy teaching math or even ELAR, English language arts, just because those I feel are my strong suits, and I really enjoy learning about those. And I want
Sure.
to help kids learn those subjects because those are some of the toughest subjects students struggle with.
Makes sense. And you're at New Tech Odessa right now. What year are you at New Tech?
I am currently a senior at New Tech Odessa.
You're a senior. So once you graduate, you're off to?
I will be attending UTPB just down the road.
Okay, so pretty close. And how many years will you stay there to finish this degree? Are you going to, all 4 years, or have you got some dual enrollment credit in your portfolio right now?
I currently have close to 50 dual credits, so
wow.
I might stay at UTPB for maybe 3 years and go straight into teaching.
Yeah. All right. So, hey, I know the superintendent in ECISD, and he's looking for some teachers. So keep that in mind. Hey, Emmanuel, let's talk to you. Same question. Why? Why do you want to be a teacher?
For me, it's important for there to be more male.
We're having some wireless issues, Emmanuel. Maybe we'll bring you back. We'll pop you out and bring you back in, see if that fixes the wireless issues. Let's go back to Natalie for just a minute. And let me ask you a little bit about the program, because you and Emmanuel, you're in the same program, is that correct? You're both at New Tech?
Yes, we're both at New Tech, though we take different courses with Miss Cunningham.
Okay, all right, but both have her. So tell me a little bit about your program. What has that experience been like for you?
So far, it's been a very interesting experience. I started off as a junior, so last year was my first year, and I was able to go and observe and help co-teach at some of the elementaries that are here locally. So I visited some of the GT campuses, and I really enjoyed being at Alamo. That really inspired me to go third grade. I observed a third grade class there, and I just fell in love with the grade level. This year's been interesting due to COVID, but I'm going to have some opportunities to teach virtually, so that will definitely prepare me for the future.
I had an experience with middle school. That was my first experience when I was in college, actually, when I had your experience, but middle school. And you're right, that I had a very positive experience, and that told me, hey, middle school is where you need to be. So your third grade experience, especially when you have a great teacher, it can kind of enlighten you to your future possibilities. So Emmanuel, it looks like you're back with us. Let's go back to that question I asked you, and that's the why. What is your why for becoming a teacher?
My why for becoming a teacher is because I feel like there's not as much of male representation with teaching, and I feel like it's important because there's students that need a role model, or there just needs to be male, I think. And I also like the idea of making your own classroom environment. And if I was to become a teacher, I want my environment to be very and it's very important. So yes.
Yeah. So where do you see yourself? What content area? What grade level? Have you thought about that?
For grade level, I think it definitely have to be with junior high or high schoolers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure what area. Yeah. Definitely, I think.
Okay. All right. What about your content for you? Are you a mathematician, scientist? Are you a writer, poet? What do you enjoy most academically?
I think that I'm strong with science. I'm not very good with English. I'm not much of a writer or anything, but I think that I definitely can grasp science.
Sure.
I understand that there's just a method you have to follow, and so it seems simple for me.
Are you are you a senior as well, Matthew? I mean, Emmanuel. You're a senior. So are you? Do you feel like you're ready for the college experience? Is what you're experiencing now in high school, is that preparing you to be successful in college?
I feel like for the online part, yes, because we're definitely having to push ourselves more this year, and especially because we're not in the classroom, so our teachers aren't right there checking up on us, making sure that we're getting stuff turned in. So I say disciplinary wise, yes, it's very much preparing us for that.
No, good. Are you face-to-face? Are you face-to-face or virtual as a student?
I'm face-to-face.
Are you? So you're there every day. Oh, good.
Yes, sir.
All right. I want to go back to something that you said earlier, and that is your classroom. You said something about the type of experiences that you want your students to have. Could you bring that up again?
I just think that I want my kids to have like a safe experience within the classroom, and I think that be a very safe environment, and it's important to express yourself.
Yeah, good. All right. Hey, Emmanuel and Natalie, thank you both for joining us, and we're hiring. So keep that in mind when you have that college diploma and your teacher certification, and you're ready. We're excited. Part of building a pipeline is so that we can bring back really great students, so that they can continue, so that you can serve our students of the future. And so keep working hard, stay focused, and I look forward to welcoming you to Team ECISD when you're ready to join this team. We certainly need good teachers, and it looks like we have two that are well on their way to being successful. So thank you both for being a part of our show tonight.
Thank you.
No, you're very welcome. All right, Carla. CTE, it is multifaceted, from pipelines in the oil field and developing engineers and those that will work in that environment, to developing teacher pipelines, to the youngest nurse in the state of Texas graduating from ECISD and OC. That's all exciting stuff. What else would you say about CTE? Why should a student be interested?
I think it's important that kids know that CTE is for everyone. There is a place for everyone in CTE. And so I love the tag in the beginning, is CTE right for me? Because yes, it is. Because all of us eventually are going to grow up and move out, and we're going to want to be able to take care of ourselves and our families. This graphic that you have loaded is a great picture of the different pathways, and then there's just tons and tons of courses under each pathway. I would say that some of our most popular ones are going to be health sciences, where our students are studying not just LVN, but phlebotomy, medical assistant, pharmacy technician, just to name a few. Welding is hugely popular. In fact, our most recent welding lab was built by our students with TIG, MIG, and chop saws. So we were just so proud of those kids. They got to sign the wall, and it was really terrific. And then we're excited to offer two new programs. One is paralegal, and that is, again, another partnership with Odessa College, where our students will have the opportunity to earn up to 24 semester credit hours in a paralegal with OC. And the HVAC, that's heating, ventilation, and air conditioning, and plumbing, which are critically need areas in our community. And as you know, if you've ever had to call out an automotive, or excuse me, an HVAC technician or a plumber to your home, you will know that there is a lot of money to be made there. So we're super excited about those new programs as well.
Yeah, no, that's good. I think, I'm asked that question quite a bit about CTE. We do have a lot of need for, electricians, plumbers, HVAC repairmen, and women, and you see that kind of built in. So you said those are new programs that are coming up. Is that true?
Yes. So those are on the course card right now for our kiddos to select, and we are super excited about those.
So starting next year.
Yes. So y'all, kids, pick those courses.
So talk about the future of CTE and ECISD. Where are we going?
Oh my gosh, the sky's the limit. I think that the legislators now, in the last, I would say, maybe 6-7 years, are starting to see the value in workforce education. And in large part, you see that in their adding the industry-based certifications to our accountability system. So it isn't just about how does the kid do on an English or algebra exam, which are important, but how is a kid doing in preparation for the workforce and college and career? And so we just want to be able to continue the trajectory of growing our programs. We've seen a 183% increase in enrollment over the last 10 years. We took a slight dip this year with the COVID issues because a lot of our courses were mandatory face-to-face, mandatory from the TEA, welding and auto tech, for example, culinary arts. So we did lose some of our students to that pathway. And I would like to send a message to kiddos right now if you're watching. If you got out of one of those programs because of COVID, which we completely understand, please know that you can get right back into those programs next year if you're starting to feel better about the situation.
Yep. No, great point. I also think about, and when I think about the future, Carla, I think about the fact that we want to prepare kids to be workforce ready. Matthew, when he spoke a little while ago, talked about the fact that, that the opportunities that he had in high school prepared him literally to not only, be successful in an internship, but be successful as the new news anchor at Channel 7 today. And so our kids need those experiences. You spoke earlier about a brand new facility that was really made possible because of Sewell, family of businesses, Collins and his family partnered with Odessa College to create an amazing space for kids. And today, Odessa College has welcomed our auto tech classes into that building. And so the experiences that those kids have today, they work with state-of-the-art equipment, have incredible instructors to do really amazing work. And so part of our future in CTE is to make sure that our students, no matter what program they're engaged with, that they have those high quality experiences, whether it's in the classroom, in teacher preparation, or in an automotive shop, or welding, or whatever the case may be. Our kids deserve those opportunities. And I think, so we have some chances to build, if you will, for the future, to make sure that our kids are job ready, and we give them, really supreme experiences in high school so that they can walk in and be successful in the workforce. Do you envision opportunity like that for our kids?
Yes. One of the dreams that I've had for the last 10 years is to have a brand new tech center that is state of the art, where our kids are utilizing the same equipment that kids are using in the Metroplex, that kids are using in anywhere that you can think of a big city, so that when they go out and they apply for jobs, that they know how to do the things other kids can do. And their resumes are as intense as the other kids' resumes.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like Miss Cunningham is preparing our teachers of tomorrow. She's preparing them today and providing great experiences. Those ECISD teachers that are shadowing and mentoring and co-teaching with them are providing that. Odessa College, the work that we do with them to create opportunities for students is significant. We have a host of educators in the CTE department that are providing, amazing opportunities for kids today, and more opportunities coming. One of our counselors, you mentioned re-entering the program. I would encourage any middle school or high school student that is interested in CTE. Who's the person, Carla? I'm interested right now. Who do I talk to at my school?
So if you go to Odessa High, that would be Miss Lynette Salinas. She's the CTE counselor there. If you go to Permian School, Rico Enriquez, he's the CTE counselor there. Okay. But anybody can call me or Marcy. Those numbers were up, and we'll direct you exactly where you need to go. Absolutely.
Wow. Good job. And then OC Techs kind of is CTE. You're living in it every day. What about New Tech and OCA? Where would those kids go to talk with somebody?
They would go to their own campus counselor, and then they would probably have the answer to that. And if they didn't, they would call Marcy. We're so fortunate to have her. Marcy Tomboski is our CTE dual credit counselor. She's like our right and left arm.
Good. All right. Well, Carla, you and your team have done amazing work and continue to do amazing work. So hats off to you, your department, all of the teachers and counselors that support CTE students. You know, Matthew was a great example tonight of a success story. And there are many Matthews around not only the city of Odessa and Ector County, but all across the state and nation that we're seating. Emmanuel and Natalie both are successes in the making. The teachers are molding and shaping them today into future teachers for ECISD. So powerful stories tonight. Thank you, Carla, and thank you everybody for sharing with us. And thank you for watching tonight. My name is Scott Muri, Superintendent at ECISD. It was a pleasure having you. And hopefully over the weekend you will stay very warm, and then join us again in 2 weeks for our next edition of ECISD Live. Thank you and good night.